And we're underway at Stanley, and it's the Giants that get the kick-off down towards Joe Hurd, who carts that back for Leeds. Reserves back in action for the first time in just over a month, having beaten Newcastle here last time out. 52-4 result. A big one for Chev Walker's side, and they're looking to start strong here as Sinfield drops off for Johnson. It's Jack Johnson, of course, two Johnsons playing today. Corey Johnson in at hooker. It's one of the first teamers, along with Jack Sinfield, who nicely kicks that ball over the top of the Giants' defence coming back. It's a little juggle there from Darius Carter. Nevertheless, takes the ball. Good first opening set from the Rhinos. Let's see what Huddersfield can do to counter with Sam Webb-Campbell. Meeting that wall of pink. That unmissable wall of pink. The reserves have played in all season. It's the Giants with Josh Rhodes towards a 40, closing in on halfway. This is a nice carry from Jaden Days to get Huddersfield into Leeds' half. It's the first time they've managed to penetrate that Leeds half. That's a nice kick over the top as well. Down, but easily taken by Mackenzie Turner, one of the players returning for Chev Walker's side, as Alfie Edgell takes a big shot from Robson Stevens. Now it's Turner in again, back in the Rhinos side after scoring, I believe it was a hat-trick against London in a brilliant performance for the winger, who's leading the Rhinos with 8 tries this year. A little bit high on Joe Hurd there, just shrugs that off nevertheless, as Sinfield shapes to go inside for Littlewood and carries on into the line himself. And Corey Johnson on for Jonah Parsons, a try scorer on his return. Himself to halfway here leads. It's Danny Salkeld playing on his home ground outstandingly, as nice rush defence up on Sinfield means that Johnson has to kick away in the end, and Jaden Billy takes that ball under pressure from Parsons, but does so very well. It's Jacob Grayson in off the edge. Both sides just going through the motions here. A very sunny Stanley. It's a very, very pleasant summer evening at the Arthur Miller Stadium. It's Stevens again. Takes 3 with him, including Littlewood, one player out of 2 that are making their reserves debut for Leeds this evening. As we reach tackle 5, it's going to be Markham. Goes to the left. It's raised stick. Nice high kick. He's going to pin Edgell back. He's going to leave it. No, it's allowed to bounce. And Riley Lum does really well in the end to take that. Very unorthodox for the winger after the fullback missed it. Nevertheless, the other player that's also making his reserves debut, Riley Lum, after impressing in the under-18s this year. He's been training as well with the first team, which is great to see. Now Joe Gibbons gets forward a few metres. 2 tries in that win over Newcastle for Joe. As Jack Smith comes searching off the edge. Trying to force himself to his feet. I think it's Riley Lum actually again, not Jack Smith. It's now Hurd. Big carry from Joe Hurd. Nice from the prop. He's been using that experience at Cornwall and Hunslet well. To serve him well, as that. It's an unorthodox grubber kick in the end, and it's a little break on here for Huddersfield. Can Mackenzie Turner get to him? It's Grayson who managed to pick up that loose ball. It was not a great kick, and Johnson tried to do his best to dab it on again. In the end, Huddersfield taking the attack to Leeds now. Markham for Rhodes. Almost 20 metres shy from that Huddersfield, for that Leeds line, Stevens again. He's working his way through his sets nice and early, is Robson Stevens. He's got a lot of carries in all these sets we've had so far. There's Days. Dubbies goes himself, tries to fend away from Sinfield, but in the end it's Will Gatiss around his ankles that stops him. Out of dummy half goes Grayson. Gatiss is there again. Good defence from the young centre. pass, just a little bit wayward for Ray Strick. But nevertheless, they get the kick away, and it's Wainwright that's chasing up, but it's too heavy, and Jack Johnson just lets it go and brings it back to the 20 for a 7-tackle set. It's Gibbons. Comes searching off the edge. Poor pass picked up off the floor by Turner on the bounce. It's just having a little stoppage in play. It's the physio for Huddersfield takes a head knock on Jaden Billy. So he'll go from the field early in the game. We've only played 5 minutes. And already Huddersfield losing one of their subs. Whether that'll be for the whole game, we'll have to see. Whether he'll come back is another question. Nevertheless, it's been a positive start from the Rhinos. There was just that little hiccup when Johnson couldn't quite get his foot on the ball. And in the end, Grayson made that breakaway. But nevertheless, we're back underway. Johnson lowers his hips and tries to waddle into the line and does so well. Now Littlewood running a strong line off that pass from Johnson, and it's a head-high tackle. That's been coming. With a couple of shots have been a little high for the supporters just below me. They're liking as Sinfield gets a nice kick. So they'll start this new set 20 metres from the try line. Leeds with their big opportunity. Littlewood, who earned that penalty, getting the first carry. Johnson shapes right, goes left, Sinfield. Nice pass, Gates is through, and the opening try of the game goes to the Rhinos. A well-worked play. Johnson shaped to go right, went left to give it to Sinfield, who had just a precision pass. It was almost perfect, if not perfect, from the half-back. And Gators scores. Early try for Leeds. 4-0 kick to come. Sinfield adds the extras as well, so after 9 minutes of play, this Leeds have the 6-0 advantage. A good start here for the reserves. Doing well to just smart that early pressure, but that kick from the Giants at a level of frustration, I think, has sailed behind. It was good intelligence as well, I think. The Leeds man who caught it had the foot over the line at the back of the end zone, which just shows how deep that kick was. But here we go. They're coming forward again, the young Rhinos with Gibbons. That's Salkeld. You just hear the contact. It's a big clash between the prop and 3 defenders from the Giants. Sinfield shapes, gives it to Edgell. There's the space again. Can Alfie go through? Yes, he does go through. He puts a little step on the fullback as well. Brought down in the end by Grayson in a desperate attempt. Johnson. Sinfield. Salkeld shapes back into the line. Scored his first try for the reserves against Newcastle. He'll be searching for another today. Corey Johnson. Onto Sinfield, who threads Gibbons into the line, but can't get through. Right, Salkeld again, backs himself up, gets the offload away for Corey Johnson. Here he comes, Leeds on the second phase. Sinfield with a step, Sinfield for the try line. The referee looks at his linesman, and it's a second try for Leeds. A first of the afternoon, or evening even, for Jack Sinfield. Nice burrowing movement at the line. Takes a score to 10-0, another kick to come. Can take this to a 2-score lead here. It's a good start from the Rhinos. And the halfback adds the extras 2. Making it 2 from 2. And 8 points out of Leeds' 12 have gone the way of the Leeds number 6 tonight. A positive start. It's only been 13 minutes as well. Leeds really getting on top of their Yorkshire rivals here. Salkeld. Such an instrumental player in Leeds' success before the last try, and he'll be eager to keep going again. Johnson off the edge. Nice run from Jack. Usually been in the under-18s this year, Jack, but there's more recent times been brought up into the reserves. He's doing a great job as well, whether it be at back row or loose forward, or sometimes even at centre. He's a pretty flexible person wherever he can play. As Parsons gives it to Gibbons, gets an offload away to Corey Johnson, who sees a bit of space and fends away from 2, just stands in the tackle, gives it off for Littlewood. He then takes Leeds over halfway. We're going to see a third try in succession here from the Rhinos. Sinfield, nice again from the halfback. He's leaving this Huddersfield line with just asking questions every time he has the ball. As Edgell for Corey Johnson. Oh, he's been hit that hard there. He loses that ball. It was Brad Tagg. Just came straight out of the line and nailed the hooker. I think we're a bit disappointed that he lost that one. Will be Hooker, who's also had a bit of first team experience this year. Most notably at Magic Weekend, amongst others. As Robson Stevens comes forward, we're just looking behind us. There's another Huddersfield player down in back play. This is a second sub they're going to have to bring off the bench. It's going to be a long evening, I think, for the Giants, as Wainwright tries to poke his nose through, but there's no support for him to get the ball away to. As Rhodes takes 3 Leeds defenders with him. Let's get him down on the 20. Markham. Nice move across to Days. Tries to shrug off the tackle of Gatiss. But Littlewood and co are there. Catching the back rower. Now it's with Ray Sticks the ball in behind. Edgell does really well to evade the first man and then tries to get away from Grayson, but in the end taken down. Now Gatiss. Out of backfield. Working hard, Leeds outside backs in the opening 15 minutes. We've just gone 15 minutes. This is Mackenzie Turner. We'll be yet to see his pace, I think. I think that'll be an element we'll definitely see in this game. As Sinfield takes a few players with him and makes quite a few metres as well. It's Hurd. Big one-up carries. He's been so good for the reserves this year, as Joe Hurd. He's done whatever has been asked of him and has got through plenty of work. It's that kick for... He's well fielded by Grace. It was allowed to bounce by the standing fullback. And in the end, it's the winger that gets the Giants out of trouble. So the Giants just shy of halfway with Markham. There's now Leeds have a player down. Get to a few. I don't know if that's Danny Salkeld or it is Danny Salkeld who's been left on the floor. Still play continues. Huddersfield coming forward with Tag. That man who created the opportunity for Huddersfield to get the ball back after that big shot on Johnson. In the end, knocks on himself. There's Mark Buttrell just pointing at the referee and saying, look, we've got a man down. And it's going to be Harrison Gilmore, who might have the introduction earlier than expected. Another under 18, by the way, who's standing strong amongst a lot of these players. It's a real testament to that 10 out of the 17 in today's team are also eligible for the under 18s. It's quite remarkable just how much trust Chef Walker's putting in his young Rhinos, who are currently fourth in the under 18s Academy Championship, looking for that playoff spot come the end of the year. Alfie Edge will be one of those. One of those that's looked really good, Alfie. No matter what age group he's played in. It's Corey Johnson, player who knows coming through the academy pathway very well. Gives it on for Harrison Gilmore, who returns a favour for Johnson. Now Leeds are in full flight. Sinfield for Gatiss. Stiff arms a first player and then two more come in. And it's a penalty to Leeds for a ball strip on the centre. Who admittedly doesn't have the ball, therefore nothing more evidential than a ball strip. And Sinfield will, of course, point to the sideline. As the Rhinos go in search of a third try of the game. Sinfield and Gatiss, the two scorers so far. But they're 10 metres out. There's the opportunity for another. Johnson looks left, goes right. Parsons, nice weighted pass. Waits for Edgell. Just the pace was a bit too quick there. Try to speed up the play and try to release Jack Smith, who is a player that's been very lethal on this ground in 2022. But the pass from Parsons just was not as direct, not as accurate as maybe would like it to have been. And in the end, just it allowed Darius Carter to get up in the face of Edgell and force the error. As we hit halfway in this first half, 20 minutes played. Leeds Rhinos 12, Huddersfield Giants 0. Will Gatiss and Jack Sinfield, like I've just said, the two early try scorers. Sinfield with two conversions from two, as we'd expect. A stellar kicking record this year, Jack, no matter what age group he's played in. And Leeds caught offside. It's such a painful one to give away in the territory that they were in. But it gives Huddersfield a chance to try and get back in the game as Gatiss on his opposite number, Spencer Peel, does a decent job. But that ball out of dummy half, not great. in the end, Days does pretty well in the face of Jack Johnson. Harrison Gilmore at marker as well. Stevens back across the line. 3 up in his face. Wearing pink. I said that's a real pink wall. It's quite ominous for this Huddersfield attack, because that ball very poor, and it ends up in the hands of Tommy McKay-Gunn, who used to be on the Rhinos' scholarship before joining Huddersfield as one of their academy players. Was part of the Giants side that lost 30-10 to the Rhinos under-18s back in April. As the Giants look to move on with Nash, force an impromptu kick over the top at Edgels there and fields it nicely. Parsons at dummy half. And for Lum, who just scrambles forward towards the 30. Still going to go down that right-hand side. There's an option with Gibbons. And along with his brother David, was lethal against Newcastle. It's Parsons again. On for Johnson, who's just hit in the face, but does really well to get the offload away too. And it gives this man a chance to drive forward in Alfie Edgell. He's got the pace. We know that. And he's definitely got the options on the outside. Johnson, big dummy. Goes at the line, dummies again, and then gives it off to Edgell again. Sinfield for Johnson. Jack Johnson. Fends off 2. Goes down on the Huddersfield 40. On the 5th tackle now. Sinfield, look, dab kick. Got 2 quick players in Mackenzie Turner and Will Gators there. Not quite in time to meet Kieran Raystrick, who looks to have moved. Excuse me, it's Ethan Wainwright who's moved from the halfback role into fullback for the injured Jaden Billy, who went off with that head injury. It's Tag towards his own 40. Taken down by Gilmore and company. It's another sweet drop-off, this time for Tommy McKay. Gunn gives a proper bit of time to power up, but he's met with strong force of Harrison Gilmore, who the duo know each other very well. Like I said, from that meeting earlier in the year, and that kick just too long. Goes into the playground at the back, just behind the rugby pitches here at Stanley. And Mackenzie Turner safely takes it. It's a 7-tackle set as well, which will be giving this Leeds side more confidence, and that one extra play, it can mean a lot. When it comes down to getting yourself to the other end of the field, that extra play just lets you have a bit more creativity and gives a forward another run, or lets Alfie Edgell have a bit more of a search out wide, or Jackson Field a nice dart at the line, just like he has done there. It's Johnson out of dummy half, tries to put the hammer down and does so. Off goes Corey Johnson. Can he beat the fullback? Yes, he does. Brilliant solo try from Corey Johnson under the posts. Try time again for Leeds. It's 16-0 with kick to come.
Now, as the clock hits 25 minutes, as Sinfield converted that one, makes it 18-0. It's a really special moment, as we've just seen Tom Nicholson-Watton run back out on the field. Now, you might be thinking, what's so special about that one? Well, it's been over a year since Tom's been on the field, a bit like Jonah against Newcastle the other week. It's been a while since we've seen Tom in action. Got an injury against Hull KR at Headingley in August 2021. It's been a long road to recovery, but finally it's great to see the prop back out there. And no doubt he'll take this next carry, unless Johnson goes down the Joe Gibbons side like he did there. Also on his home ground at Stanley, nothing will make him more proud as well. Or Tom, you might have heard him on the commentary as well a few times. As here he goes. Beautiful ball on for Sinfield. Nice movement again from Leeds. Gators gives it to Mackenzie Turner, and we know how quick this man is. Great ball back on the inside. Oh, it's picked up off the turf by Edgell. Another try for Leeds. Superb again. Alfie Edgell this time gets Leeds a fourth with just over 10 minutes remaining in the half. Leeds just asserting the dominance further. Brilliant again. It's 22-0 with a kick to come. And what a start this has been from this Leeds side. It's just been absolutely relentless for Huddersfield. And they look to have steadied the ship after conceding those first two from Will Gates and Jack Sinfield early on. But Corey Johnson has just kick-started this Leeds attack. He's just gone off the field, Corey, for a well-deserved break, allowing Bailey Aldridge to come on the field. But they've really got Huddersfield under the pump here, Leeds. Sinfield for Johnson. Doesn't matter which side they're going. They're finding a lot of luck down this edge. We know that already. We've seen. Let's just have a little break for there being a second ball on the pitch. It's always helpful. Nevertheless, play resumes. Nice inside ball from Aldridge. Good. It might have been Joe Hurd, sorry, actually. Just finding Harrison Gilmore, who got hit pretty hard as well. As Leeds with Parsons, goes wide for Smith, on for Riley Lum, who makes a sensible decision to come back in field and puts a little step on to get a few more metres as well. Leeds in full force here. Aldridge for Sinfield. Dummies across the line for Harrison Gilmore. Right by those posts, 10 metres out, Leeds. Searching for try number 5. As we just hit 10 minutes to go. Sinfield. Dummies. We've seen this already this year and in this game. A nice grubber kick as well for Gibbons. Oh, it's so close. Big opportunity for the back row, and he was running in unmarked. What a try that would have been. Saw him score a few like it when Leeds played Newcastle. I believe one of them was pretty similar to that. If not, there was definitely one against Castleford, I remember, from the away trip there, where there was a beautiful little grubber kick and no one read the run of Gibbons. Just those little intelligent runs that he can make. Huddersfield once again trying to steady the ship here with Robson-Stevens. Gets the Giants over halfway. Trying to build here, Thomas Tang's side. Stevens again earns a penalty for a head-high tackle. And it's Leeds just giving away. Seen it already, but just little silly errors. Just allowing themselves to be put under some pressure. Instead of kicking for touch, the Giants say we'll tap and go. We'll fancy our chances. Because nevertheless, if the try doesn't come off and they don't get points on the board, at least they've pinned Leeds back close to their own line by the end of the 6 tackles. And this is the second. It's a nice offload as well. So play continues for the Giants. Shape back inside from Days, who carries nicely. Hit by 3, including Harrison Gilmore. And it's a third penalty. Well, they're usually saying penalty. In that equation, usually equals try. So it's going to be a tough task here for Leeds to keep the Giants out. McKay Guns, excuse me. 5 metres out. The try line beckoning for the Giants. Nice wide ball on for Peel. It ends up losing it in the tackle though. And Sinfield reclaims a knock-on signal by the referee. It'll just be frustration from the Giants. Just not being able to put anything together in this first half. Not as much as what they'd have liked. So Leeds scrum down 10 metres from the try line. Parsons, dummies, always got a bit of space in front of him. Jonah pokes his nose through, nearly there. If it wasn't for 2 Giants defenders hanging around his ankles. Gibbons off a flat pass, that ball lost. It's inevitable when you're giving a player who's carrying that much speed that little time to think. Stevens hit by 3 again from Leeds. Not afraid to throw bodies in the tackle here, Leeds. And use what they've got as Wainwright on for Days. Gators comes off the edge. And again, there's 3 tackles in there as well. Also trying to set something up. It's a 6 again as well. Just what they needed, the Giants, if they're looking for points before the end of the first half. Stevens again. I'll keep saying his name because he's getting through plenty of work. Good tackle there from Gibbons, just asserting his dominance over his opposite number. There's now Nash, backs himself up towards the line. Huddersfield, can they get a score? The ball's lost, and another penalty for Leeds, against Leeds. Claiming the ball stripped unnecessarily and illegally. So 5 minutes left in this first half. Huddersfield come forward with Stevens. There's now Wainwright. Dummies, nice ball. There's a loose forward over. No, he's held up. Oh, he's lost the ball even. Wow. It's the 5%ers now for the 1%ers even for Huddersfield that just proving too difficult. Just can't keep hold of the ball in a good place. I think it's something that might be addressed at half-time by the Giants coaching staff. As Parsons throws a ball out for Jack Smith, and I believe this is Jack Smith's first carry of the game. I don't think he's touched the ball yet, the centre. Very unlike him. He's usually got something to say. More usually, if it's something to say, it's usually a try. Riley Lum's another. Drops and plays the ball. Sinfield on for Turner, who's come searching for the ball off the edge. There's a bit of space. Off goes Mackenzie Turner. Puts those afterburners on. Is Wainwright going to be able to catch him? I don't think so. Oh, he ankle taps him, which is the only best thing he can do. Mackenzie Turner. I'll have to check further down the pitch. I think there might be some burnt grass for how quick that guy was running there. Brilliant try. Takes Leeds close to 30 with 4 minutes remaining. So try number 5 with 2 minutes left by clock. Score 30-0. It's been a 30 unanswered points. It's been one-sided to say the least in this first half. The Giants just not having anything to combat Leeds when they've been carrying the ball forward. The scoring doesn't stop. There's still a big second half to come as well. Jack Johnson running those lines really well, cutting back off the edge. And Sinfield's finding him even better. That's a relationship forged within the Rhinos scholarship after they both played together last year. Played together really productively as well, made a few tries for each other. There's Nicholson-Watton. Finds his front, plays a quick ball for Aldridge, who's off to the races, along with Parsons, who, instead of missing the man out, gives it flat to Gibbons. Wasn't a bad call, to be fair. Parsons again. Dummies back across, dummies himself. There's a bit of space for Parsons, and he's not slow either, Jonah. Wainwright, though, up to the task this time. And puts his body in the way of the number 7 getting over. Sinfield, though, finds the gap out wide for Gatiss. He's got defenders over there. There's Aldridge. After we half, on for Sinfield, kick back across. Oh, you could see what the plan was, but instead it's giving it away for Wainwright, who in the end has to be dragged down by Gilmore. But you could see the play. He was looking for Edgell, who was racing back in. Just unfortunate in the end that the fullback was there. It's good work from Gilmore, though, not to let him escape. As the Giants work their way towards halfway, Stevens with his hands on the ball. Gives it back, and it's a high kick in the end off the boot of Raystrick. It's easily taken in the end, and Edgell's a player that carts it back, taken back by 2. As we're in the final minute of the first half. First half, I think Chev Walker will be pretty happy with. He found his 1%ers, but there's not a lot you can complain about when your side's 30 points up and playing pretty well. There's Leeds with Hurd. On for Sinfield. Nice movement again from Leeds. On for Edgell, who just walks his way and keeps on going. Huddersfield not getting those legs. It's 44 to the referee's looking at that watch. Sinfield, ball inside for Hurd, just a fumble, gets it in his hands the way he wants it. As we're on the 5th, is Sinfield going to look high, or is he going to grubber kick it in for the in goal? Let's have a look. It is a high kick. Might not be the kick he's wanting. It just sits into the arms of Day. Does then get the ball out wide, looking for a quick break with Spencer Peel. But that will mark a good first half here at Stanley for the Rhinos, who score 30 unanswered points. Thanks to tries from Alfie Edgell, Will Gates, Mackenzie Turner, Jack Sinfield and Corey Johnson. Sinfield converting all 5. Takes the score to Leeds Rhinos 30, Huddersfield Giants 0 at the break. So the team's back out for the second half. Leeds, that 30-point advantage. They're scoring 5 back-to-back tries. And it's Jack Sinfield that gets us underway. Well, what can Leeds work on in this second half? We'll have to find out, because it was a near-perfect performance from Chev Walker's side. I don't think there'll be much that they'll be too displeased with. Well, half's working really nice at the edges. A lot of space for them to work. The props are doing laying a good foundation as well. So it might just be more of the same. But like I said at the end of the first half, there'll be those 1% that we want improving. But overall, let's see how many points get put on in this half. It's a nice kick over the top from Wainwright, and I think the opposite would be the same it would be an opposite chat for the Giants, just to stem the flow. The half's a new half. Well, they're definitely not out of the game, but Leeds have been known a few times to give away leads, like we saw at Hull KR. That was a big comeback in that game. Castleford another. Yeah. So they're definitely not out of it. It's just a big mountain to climb, but so it's reserve grade at the end of the day. Anything can happen. As the Giants with the ball, and it's Kyle Baines taking the first carry in. The Giants' sun just shining in our eyes over here. Now it's McKay Gunn. So lifts a leg. Leeds having to forced into some defending at the start of this second half. Wainwright onto Ray Strick, who takes the ball himself. Doesn't look out wide. He goes very solo. And in at the line himself. He's looking to just hold up here. Quick pass. Days out wide. Try time. And it's the Giants who get the second half scoring underway. It's Jacob Grayson. It's one of their deadlier players in that first half. It's a nice play. You could see Leeds almost read what was happening, actually, and Days did really well to get that ball out nice and quickly over the top. And not a lot you can do to stop a winger at such short range like Jacob Grayson there. It's 30 points to 4. Second half well and truly on here. That conversion missed, leaves it at 30 points to 4. Leeds still with that 26-point buffer. As Ray Strick couldn't quite convert from that range. It's a nice one out wide. It's a difficult one to kick, especially when he hasn't quite got the sun in his eyes. He was in a nice shadowed position. Oh, what a shot! Harrison Gilmore and Joe Hurd leaving players on the ground. What a shot that was. And that's how we're conceding. This Rhinos side just absolutely superb shot. Get that one into you. As the Giants, buoyed by that confidence of scoring so early in the second half. It's just Markham wanting to hurry the play, wanting that ball nice and quickly. Instead, gives it to Wainwright, who kicks away. It's not the best of kicks. It bounces back into the hands of Mackenzie Turner. He turns his back on the defence, and it's an easy take in the end. Now Gaitus. Two players that were try scorers in that first half. Found a lot of joy down the edge. Gaitus scoring the first of the game, and I believe it was Turner that scored the last of the half as well. And that nice solo effort, nice and quick, like we've seen so many times for the reserves this year. Johnson on a ball back on the inside. Takes three with him towards the 30. The sun getting pretty intense here at Stanley. Aldridge out dummy half on for Gibbons. It's a nice run from the back rower. A searching run that we've seen so many times. And the referee does penalise Huddersfield for a head-high tackle. It's a quick tap as well from Gibbons, trying to catch the Giants off guard. Backing his way towards the posts. Aldridge waits. Not as deceptive as Johnson. Just knows exactly where to put the ball, and it was a little bit over the head of Parsons, who's got a bit of space. Parsons is through. Try time! Brilliant response to conceding there from Leeds. It started with the big hit from kick-off, and it results in another try. Parsons, a beautiful fend, did really well. It wasn't the best of passes to start out of dummy half. Did well to evade the tackle of one, and as soon as he was away, you better believe he was away. It's another try, sixth of the game. The kick to come, Leeds could be extending that lead back to take it to 36-4, but kick to come from Sinfield.
You got that.
Let's just go. Thanks, Tom. $36-4.
Thank you.
So Sinfield adds a conversion as well, and Huddersfield got nice and long. Not really, no choice really to be silly at this stage. Forced Leeds to come away from deep, but we saw Parsons score a really great try. Well, on his return to action, a special try at that. And that was equally as special. The pass from dummy half was not on. The play wasn't even on. I think there was only him singing off the hymn sheet, but you know, everyone can sing a solo, can't they? As that ball just put to ground. By Jack Johnson, who's been pretty solid actually as Jack in the most of this game so far. He's coming off the edge really nicely, but he's got the ball in a slightly awkward position. And gives Huddersfield a scrum down 40 metres from the Leeds try line. That's Webb Campbell. We've got a couple of players here that we've not really seen even in the first half, because Huddersfield just didn't have the ball and couldn't use it to the extent they are now. As Rhodes. Coming out the back with Days. Taken down by 3. This is another beckoning opportunity here for the Giants. They've got one already in this half. Trying to close that scoreline that's currently at 36-4. That charge for the line by Rhodes. He's in and thereabouts. There's Markham on for Wainwright. Looks for the long pass. It comes off the shoulder of McKay Gunn. Leeds are quick, but not quite as quick as Sam Webb-Campbell. And then darts out dummy half himself. Can he go for the line here? The centre on the last. It was a desperate effort. Just too desperate in the end. Some would say maybe not the right call. As Leeds turn the ball over on their own try line. We've just played 10 minutes of the new half, hit 50 minutes. I said the only score of this half so far. Coming courtesy of Jonah Parsons. And into those 5 tries, unanswered tries of the first half. As Sinfield spots a gap and off goes Jack Sinfield. He's not the quickest, but the person he gives it away to is in Mackenzie Turner. He's got players around his ankles though in the end. As Sinfield again, nice dummy. Runs a strong line too. It's all going Leeds' way at the minute. Here goes Bailey. Bailey Aldridge. It's a quick pass, excuse me for the pause. Just almost didn't see Turner pass that ball for the substitute hooker. But Leeds now got the confidence and the wind in their sails. Offload from Gibbons, on for Edgell. This is promising. Jack Smith! There's one try scorer in the backs. There's one player in the backs that hasn't scored a try. That's only Ryan Lum at this stage. I think that could be broken because Jack Smith adds his name to the scorers list. Takes Leeds to 40. Another brilliant try. Another try that just comes from confidence. Wanting to throw that ball around and give the offloads for, like we saw with Joe Gibbons. He maybe should have pouched that ball, but instead chanced his hand and gets the rewards with a good try. So Sinfield's conversion takes it to 42-4. And Leeds, well, if they weren't in command in that first half, I don't know where they were. It's been restored. They look to have been just shook a bit, I think, by that early try from the Giants, but they're really sitting in their own rhythm and all bouncing off each other quite nicely. As Leeds have brought Edgell from the field, allowing Riley Lum a bit of room, and here goes Lum. He even looks for an offload. Brings Neil Chimambe onto the field. Another serial try scorer. It's just even more danger for Huddersfield to deal with here for the remainder of this game, which is currently at 25 minutes. It's not looking a pretty picture. There's Parsons, dummy. He's got one Parsons, he's going to get another. Gets away from Webb Campbell, okay. And gets himself down to the 10. I won't be surprised if Leeds look long. Gibbons carries himself. Just a one-up carry towards the posts. Safe, considerate. Sinfield for Lum. Usually he step back inside, as we've seen from Riley. That's what makes him different to Alfie. Alfie maybe would have looked out on the edge to go find that space. Lum goes back into the markers. Leeds tried to get the play to continue, but in the end that ball coming off the shoulder of Danny Salkeld. So it's going to be a handover to the Giants. It's a bit slow for the scrum. The referee just has a chat with a couple of Huddersfield players as Huddersfield also make a sub. It's Bradley Tagg going from the field. I believe it's Cameron Siddiqui that's coming onto the field. He just packs into the scrum and the feed goes right. It's the Giants with Webb Campbell. Spencer Peel, excuse me. Now Nash. Lost the ball in the tackle to Johnson, so plays back on here. Oh, it's Littlewood even that's picked up the ball. Play continues. Leeds coming forward with Sinfield. It's quick. It's quick. And he's giving it to a player that's even faster in Mackenzie Turner. Steps back inside, gives it to Sinfield. As Leeds make another change. Nicholson Watton coming off. Gilmore going on. Great stint from Big Tom. Parsons. Long ball. Gibbons shouldn't have really tried to touch the ball. It's unlucky. It's one of those where just to be safe you go for it, but Jack Smith was there waiting, and what could have been if the centre had caught the ball. I suspect you'd be thinking another try. I'd be thinking exactly the same. Huddersfield at the moment just being damaged by their own mistakes. It's tough to get out of that cycle, especially when you've got a team like Leeds that are getting up in your face and not backing down. Baines spins out of the tackle. It's now Rhodes. Just trying to work their way ever close to halfway. If they can get there and get a good kick away, Huddersfield, we may be looking at exciting end to the game, but at this rate they're going to be kicking from deep again, not deep in their own half, but this is a bit better. Getting the ball out to Nash, reaches the last, look to go to Wainwright, I believe, the player wearing number 7, and it does. Dabs a little kick over the top. It should be easy enough for Riley Lum. It sits up for him, and he offends a tackle of 2 or 3. That's the thing, you can try and tackle one of these Leeds outside backs, but they're going to be making plenty of contact meters. That's, though, how you meet a defender. Big hit there from Stevens on Chimambe. Just put a rattler through him, but shouldn't disturb Neil too much there. Sinfield spots a gap, darts away. Taken by 2. Gilmore, Littlewood. Leeds looking nice and confident hit. Parsons now with a kick. It's not usually come to Jonah Parsons in the past, but puts it up for Neil. It's unlucky there, Chimambe. It's not many people can beat him in the air due to that sheer size. He's scored so many tries this year. And using his height to his advantage. Just got to look at that, but another Huddersfield player down. So this clock will be stopped just shy of the hour mark. 20 minutes or so remaining. It was a pretty quick first half. We had a couple of stoppages, but all in all, it wasn't too bad. This looks a little bit serious. I'm not 100% on the player that's down. So, for Leeds, of course, after this will be a win today, with games against Wakefield and Hull FC coming up. We're looking to finish strong and maybe sneak into those post-season playoffs. It's a possibility. And like I said, the under-18s, which most of which are playing tonight. There's 10 of them out of the 17. They look all but set to be in for the under-18s Academy Championship. The reserve's not quite there in terms of the league table. But a win today, very healthy, with 2 games left. For the injury, we're just going to take a quick moment because it looks a little serious. So I'll take a break from commentary. So it's Kieran Raystrick, and it's another spine player lost by the Giants. They lost Jaden Billy early on. And now they've lost a half-back. They'll be looking into who's left on the bench. It makes the job of the 13 currently on the field a little bit harder because they've got to work that bit harder. They'll have to dig deep. Stevens, one player that has been absolutely relentless for Huddersfield. No matter the score, he's just carted that ball forward. Not anyone wanted to stop him. Wainwright with a gap, that's more like it. Good from the halfback and is allowed to play on by the referee. There's a bit of space for him to work here. The number 7 fends off Lum. Gets himself a bit closer to that Leeds try line. Within 20, Stevens. Taken by Parsons. Sun just coming really low here as Wainwright dabs a kick behind. Chimambe's comfortably there. Would have looked a little bit dangerous for Darius Carter, but nevertheless, we know Neil's defence in goal is pretty good, but Huddersfield are now muscling up. This is more like it. They are penalised, though, for offside. Unfortunate penalty. And Leeds, of course, will oblige by kicking over the sideline. We've seen Sinfield do that so many times already in this game. Smith with a quick to tap and go. He's full of energy. And the clock doesn't stop, of course. Salkeld with a done with that. I don't think really fooled many people. Nevertheless, made him those few metres over the 40. Now Littlewood. Ball out to start with, but then reels it back in to take it into contact. Leeds knocking on that door just slowly at the minute, but it's a quick ball from Smith to Chimambe, and it's a walk-in. Those quick hands prove to be too lethal, but the referee not quite given this yet. He's having a chat with the referee with his side to touch judge, and it is a forward pass. There was a hint of, I was a little bit, thought for a moment it might be forward. And let the play on. He trusted in his linesman. And Neil unlucky not to score on that occasion. Just as following script for the Giants, they're just losing the ball in all sorts of field position that really they need to be holding onto that ball. Just when they've had a scrum that they can obviously build from. Instead now Leeds have that scrum and have that scrum feed. As Joe Gibbons just gets a brief shouting at from Jack Sinfield and company for Leeds being a man down in the scrum. Smith plays the ball. Chimambe with that opportunity moments ago. Eager to add himself to the score sheet, but the referee spots a fumble and turnover turns over again. And the ball turns over again even. Just struggling to keep hold of possession at the minute as Jack Sinfield is taken from the game to rapturous applause. Joe Hurd put on in his place, but I don't think that's a like-for-like swap. Unless Joe Hurd can play some half-back, we'll have to see. Nevertheless, the Giants now, with room to move. The sun just gone behind some clouds here at Stanley. It's gone away for the moment. And Markham wants a quick play of the ball and gets one on to Days, who's been causing problems for Leeds. It's another forward who's been causing quite a few problems for that Leeds defence tonight. There's now Rhodes over the Leeds 40, closing in on the try line if they can get there. Days again. Can he get that arm free for the offload? There's more than enough defenders in there to swallow up the prop. There's Markham for Wainwright. Out wide keeps the ball moving and it's over the sideline. I think it was forward actually as well. Looked very optimistic to start with. Just in the end, goes over the head of Grayson and into touch. The score remaining 42-4. Not had any points since the 52nd minute when Jack Smith added his name to the score sheet. There have been 2 tries in this half so far. Jonah Parsons and Smith scoring. Sinfield, a perfect record with 7 kicks from 7. Now Mackenzie Turner with a bit of space. Gets the ball back inside. Riley Lund for the posts. There's a man coming across. The pass is poor. Aldridge was there in support. It looked a certain try again. Leeds just unlucky. Just as I thought I'd jinxed them by saying no points. We look to have a try. It's unselfish there. Mackenzie Turner just giving it off to Riley. Not quite enough room. And the pass maybe didn't quite check where Aldridge was before he passed. It gives Huddersfield another chance with Webb Campbell. Stevens. They reached the 5th pretty quickly. That's a very quick set from Huddersfield. That's unbelievable. There's a Wainwright. Puts the ball on the toe. And kicks down towards Riley Lund, who takes it comfortably. He's not really that phased. There's a worry for Danny Salcott, who's hobbling around as he comes from the field. So what can Leeds do here? We're approaching 10 minutes to go. Gators. One try to his name. How he'd like a second. Up to halfway. Parsons. Gibbons, nice bit of space. Off he goes, gives it to Chimambe, and we know another player around. Speed is Neil, and it's a strolling in the end. He never looked like he got out of third gear, really. He made that look very easy, Neil Chimambe. Does finally get his try. And Leeds closing on 50 with 14 minutes left. So Riley Lum takes over kicking duties and adds the extras, taking Leeds within 2 points of the 50 margin. But I've never seen a player look so relaxed running for a try than Neil Chimambe. There's a coolness about him and a calmness that he knows he's in clear space. He's got the time, and in the end, it wasn't a difficult finish. As Leeds concede a penalty, it's Harrison Gilmore that's lost the ball. There's been 8 different try scorers scoring Leeds' tries today. That's more remarkable. Most of them have come in the back line, apart from, well, all but one really, apart from Corey Johnson. All the Leeds have come through the back line. Riley Lum, the only not to score a try. It's not including bench players. And then you've had Chimambe as well, obviously, from the bench. That's Huddersfield. For what at this stage is just a consolation. So I think that the hill is a bit too high at this stage. As that pass wayward, and he's picked up off the bootlaces by Jack Smith comfortably and calmly. Another player that's had a pretty good game. He's had a quiet game really, and I think his regard, he usually likes his hand on the ball a bit more than he has today. That's because Leeds have found the spaces in the first half, especially down this left-hand side, the Gatiss and Turner side. As the clock takes us inside 10 minutes. This will be a cool finish, I believe, from Leeds. As Gibbons, over his own 30, closes in on the 40. Aldridge, one-handed, picks up the ball out of dummy half. Gives it to Lum, who was hit by threes. Kept coming, Riley Lum, to say that he's been put down a few times. It's not affected him at all, as Parsons on the last. Nice pass. Gators releases Turner. Is he going to look back inside for Parsons? Yes, he is. There's a pass unavailable, and it is for Bailey Aldridge. The hooker started the play, and he'll finish it under the posts. Try number 9. Leeds beyond 50. It's a big score and it's a big performance. And we've still got 9 minutes left. So Lum with his second of the evening. And Aldridge becoming another different try scorer to get a try. With 7 minutes remaining on the clock, I have in front of me as the score's at 54-4. Nothing short of comprehensive from the Rhinos, and a young Rhinos side at that. They've been absolutely lethal. To say they've brought players like Jack Sinfield, Corey Johnson from the field of play, Alfie Edgell. It's not made a difference. As the players they've brought on have stepped into those shoes and backed themselves all the way. There's now Parsons for Lum. Quick ball over the top. It's allowed to bounce and taken in the end by Darius Carter. Jack Smith appeals for something in there. So it'd be tough to pick a man of the match. Usually I'd ask the player that was doing commentary to pick up man of the match with me, but so we'll put it down to this with quite a few in this one. I can't pick out a one player. It's been overall a great team effort. It bodes really well for the future. Like we say, all these guys coming through the Leeds programme, whether they're still in the under-18s or part-time reserves, everyone's stepped up, done their job. Our first team as well. Oh, Gibbons comes out of the line. He kept searching for Jaden Days then. Trying to give him no opportunity. There's Nash. Tries to fend away from Littlewood, but nothing there. There's him and Gibbons in there again. Wainwright hoofs the ball to the edge. It's too long. It's not a great kick at all. It's not a clever kick. It's definitely not an intelligent kick. It's a little bit haphazard looking. Chancing his arm. Just on the off chance that Grayson could maybe get up there, but not when it's going too long. So Leeds, it's been a steady last few sets. 5 minutes on the clock. You could just hear, if you couldn't quite hear the shouts there was shouts of slow it down. They're willing to take the time here, Leeds. Get to the fifth, get a safe kick away. As Chimambe looks to offload the ball, but it's almost a no. Goes up from the spectators. Just hold on to it. There's now Parsons. Puts it on the boot. Comes off the shin. You could hear the agonising shout as soon as he'd kicked it. He was not happy with that at all. He was not happy with that one. But once again, comprehensive from Leeds. We wondered if this game could be one of those tight ones like we've seen in the reserves. In most of the games this year, there was only really Newcastle and Bradford at the start of the year that have been comprehensive results for Leeds. But they've really shown the stripes in this 10-try performance. Wainwright on for Nash. Same sort of play. We saw this a little bit earlier when Huddersfield were in this sort of area. As the ball comes out for Days. Instead of going wide, he cuts back inside himself. Is this going to be a consolation effort for Huddersfield? Days for the line! Held up by positive Leeds defence. It just shows that even though they've succeeded in attack, they've also prepared to stand up in defence and hold this Giants line out. Wainwright. Long ball. Nice juggle over the shoulder. And it's another 1%er. A big chance again. Put down by Thomas Greensmith. Leeds, although not in the best position they might like, being right near the try line, nevertheless. bringing the ball away with Gibbons. One for Chimambe. Plays that ball nice and gently. Gators. Still carrying. To say that they're taking this pretty slowly with the one-up carries, it's... And then you get the speed out of... I don't know who that is that didn't get the memo. So taking it smooth, it was Mackenzie Turner. As ever, Mackenzie Turner has one gear, and that is top gear. There's Jonah back inside for Gibbons. There's a big gap for Joe. Can he get the offload? He decides to keep all of it himself. It's a one-on-one strip. Instead, Wainwright does it and picks it up himself. So when they were looking like they were going to finalise the result, that does finalise the result. Comprehensive from the Rhinos reserves as they record a 54-4 result here at Stanningley.